We're running through the top 5 stories at Comicbook.com at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It's 1 a.m. in Warsaw at Comic Book Now. What's up, Comic Book Nation? Welcome to Comic Book Now. Wim Sad Mojo. I see you in the comments section saying hello. Hello, buddy. I'm your host, Brandon Davis. Please call me BD. I'm joined today. It's Monday. Charlie Ridgely is here.
I'm right here. Neil Raff, this is your favorite show? That makes me happy. I like it. Thanks for being here.
Charlie, tell them what you're doing all show long.
I'm watching the comments section right here on Facebook, live comments. I'm also watching the comments on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, hey, shout out to you guys. Thanks for being loyal. We're watching over there too.
Yeah, and he gets a high-pitched voice when he tells you what he's doing. It's really cute stuff. But how about we start with the news? Our top story of the day. The Batman movie has found its director. Yes, we haven't been live since Friday, and this happened after Friday's show, so it's today's news. Stepping in for Ben Affleck will be none other than War for the Planet of the Apes helmer Matt Reeves. Reeves was said to be a front-runner when rumors started to pop up of replacements for the film. And this is a fantastic choice if you ask me. And if you don't ask me, I'm going to tell you my thoughts anyway. Reeves is one of the most passionate and enthusiastic filmmakers I have ever had the pleasure of meeting. I caught up with Reeves at New York Comic Con in October this year. We talked about the huge bits of the upcoming Planet of the Apes film they had on display there. And I could just tell, like, if you guys want to go on YouTube, you can check this interview out. This guy cares a lot about his work, and the Batman is officially in very good hands, like Allstate. Aside from Apes, though, Reeves also directed another movie you might have heard of. It's called Cloverfield. I think if you weren't persuaded, you are now. Friday wasn't only huge news for DC fans, though. The Marvel side of the spectrum also had reason to celebrate. Marvel Studios released the first look at Avengers Infinity War, offering behind-the-scenes shots of Robert Downey Jr., Tom Holland, and Chris Pratt, who were all geeking out about filming, but also revealing epic new concept art, which I hope you're sitting down for because we're pulling it up now. First of all, the first look at Thanos in the film. Here's some concept art, and guys, the Mad Titan is mad swole, like super swole. That dude needs to stop with gain season. It's February. Let's go. But Kevin Feige says he's the most frightening villain the Avengers have faced yet. As for the good guys, though, we finally have absolute, concrete, undeniable confirmation that the Guardians of the Galaxy will team up with the Avengers for these movies. We all expected it, but to hear Feige say it is nice. And we got this look at Rocket Raccoon fighting beside Thor, with the God of Thunder actually holding on to what looks like Ultimate Mjolnir. What's going to go down in Ragnarok? Anybody? I wonder. And finally, Tony Stark has assembled a considerable collection of Iron Man suits, which is on display in a new Hall of Armor. Check this out. Are these robots or are these suits? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Avengers Infinity War can't come soon enough. But now, before we explode over this Avengers Infinity War news and all this Batman hoopla, we should also cheer for the Walking Dead mid-season premiere, which aired last night. Rick marched his people over to the kingdom for an epic speech trying to get King Ezekiel on board. But King Ezekiel called him Rick Grimes of Alexandria as the best LARPing of all time continued. But more importantly, he shut down Rick's request for soldiers and sent them packing, which makes sense because why would you let all of your people die for some dude you just met? No, don't do that. But this did mean that Daryl had to stay behind in an effort to avoid being spotted by Negan and Alexandria, separating the brothers from their bromance once again, and ultimately putting Rick on a path to a new batch of heavily armed people who just really don't like talking, apparently. Andrew Lincoln is calling them Rick's new army, but the most talked about moment was definitely about 3/4 of the way through. It was a Valentine's Day tag team with Rick and Michonne using a couple of jalopies, these cars here, connected by wires. Rick and Michonne cut down over 300 walkers. That's a Guinness World Record. They verified it. No, they didn't. I made that up. But still, it was a scene that actually was not in the original script for Rockin' the Road. Executive producer who directed this episode, Greg Nicotero, told this to ComicBook.com. We chatted on the Walker Stalker cruise. He saw the opportunity for something epic, and he took it. And we're all glad that he did. For more details on that episode and more, head to comicbook.com/The Walking Dead. Right now, though, in honor of last night's epic zombie kills, we're going to take a look at the other top 5 zombie kills from the AMC series.
Everyone who watches The Walking Dead knows that the show isn't really about zombies. It's more of a character study about the de-evolution of the human experience in the presence of global extinction. Walkers just happen to be the catalyst, but we'd be lying if we said that one of our favorite guilty pleasures isn't tuning in every week to see the survivors bash in some zombie brains. And with that truth out in the open, we've ranked our top 5 Walking Dead zombie kills. Starting our list off at number 5 is the Well Walker. This zombie kill goes down in Season 2, Episode 4, and it might be the dumbest decision ever. They wanted to use the water, but hey guys, the water's probably already contaminated. Either way, it turns out okay for us since we get to see bloated zombie guts everywhere. At number 4, we have a kill that goes down in Season 5, Episode 11. A very creative kill which saw Rick being his usual badass self. using a flare gun to shoot straight into a walker's skull through its dumb eye hole. Number 3, the screwdriver walker. Apparently, we love it when zombies get it in the eye, because in Season 2, Episode 1, that's exactly where Andrea shoves this screwdriver over and over again. Our number 2 spot goes to the governor's daughter, and it goes down in Season 3, Episode 8. The governor was certifiably insane, but he did have a weird soft spot for his zombified daughter. Newsflash, Michonne didn't. And finally, the moment you've waited for, you sicko. The top zombie kill goes to the trunk smash when Daryl, in an effort to save a distressed lady, smashes a walker's head in the trunk of a car and spews its dead brains all over the place. Nasty! Here it is in slow motion. Now that's how you pop a trunk. And that's our list. Let us know in the comments what you think and post links to other walker kills you think deserve an honorable mention.
If you weren't watching The Walking Dead last night, maybe you were watching the Grammys, and if you weren't watching that, I don't know what you were doing. But if you were watching the award show, you might have caught the awesome new TV spot for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. If you haven't, you know what we're doing. Of course, we're rolling it out for you right now. Roll it.
So we're saving the galaxy again? Who else is gonna do it? Awesome! I know. It almost hit me.
Now, finally, it's Monday, so we are going to talk about the weekend box office, which saw Batman on top of Christian Grey. I wish I could say two men dominated the latter, but John Wick Chapter 2, as awesome a movie as it was, came in third place with $30 million. Impressive number, though, for a non-comic book movie these days. 50 Shades Darker settled for second place with $46 million, which is much less than the original film from 2 years ago, but couldn't even try to keep up with the Lego Batman movie and its stellar reviews, which claimed first place and $55 million. This is really no surprise. I think this is kind of what everybody was expecting. I saw all of these movies except one, and unfortunately, the one I haven't seen was Lego Batman.
And that was the one I did see of the three. And Lego Batman, if you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. Lego Batman was awesome. I mean, maybe the best Batman we've ever had on screen.
Dude, I need to get to the movies and watch this. But John Wick Chapter 2 is amazing.
Yeah, I've heard that. I haven't gotten to see it yet. But
50 Shades Darker, it exists.
I know you were excited for that
Had a
one.
good soundtrack.
Now, speaking of movies this weekend, those are what came out, but you saw another one, correct? You went to New York and saw a different movie on Saturday.
I did see Logan this weekend, and I can't really talk about it just yet, but thank you, James Mangold. It was a fantastic movie. I actually got something really cool over the weekend. I got this Logan art book, which has all of these really cool, it's like the Instagram account, but in just an art book form, and there's some cool stuff in here. There's one thing I'm looking for specifically, though. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Hold on, I might have to shake the book. This is taking longer than I wanted it to.
Oh no, oh no, oh no.
What the heck? Oh, here's a picture of Hugh Jackman from the frame that they sent out. Charlie gave this to me. He didn't know this yet, but he gave this to me before I left. There it is. And I had Hugh Jackman sign it. So Charlie, this is for you, sir.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was wondering, you hadn't brought it up. I was like, is he just not going to give it back?
I was just going to
He's
keep
going
it.
to keep it for himself?
I'm not going to lie to you and say I didn't think about keeping it. But
I know.
Look at the
It-
camera,
it'd be hard
smile,
not
let
to.
everyone know how.
It'd be hard
Come on,
not to.
dude, that's
okay,
so
all right.
cool.
If you need
Like,
another look, here we go.
He's trying to play it cool
we
right
go.
now. I know he's.
Oh, I'm freaking out.
extremely-
I'm freaking out. I
Dude.
love Hugh Jackman. I've always loved
And
Hugh
can I tell you,
Jackman
when
from
he
Wolverine.
signed it, he was like, "Oh, you got the frame, mate. This is so cool." That was terrible. I tried, but he thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
so.
and I'm hoping if you saw this frame when we put it up, this might be a big one. I haven't seen it, so I'm not giving any spoilers. I've not seen the movie. I'm hoping this will be an important frame. But
What do I know? I only saw the
thank
movie.
you. I'm excited. So with that being said, now
We will
my
have
day's
lots
made.
of cool Logan content coming up later this week. Lots of cool stuff. So stay tuned.
So let's over to your questions. Now that all my dreams have been made. Back on Facebook on Friday's show, Ryan Bender wanted to know if we think Justice League will be better than the first Avengers movie. Now I know that's a tough
That's such
call.
a tough question. I think they're going to be such different movies because, first of all, I love the Avengers. It's one of my favorite comic book movies. It obviously launched everything that is the Marvel Cinematic Universe now. Iron Man launched it, but it just really blew it out of the water. I think Justice League is going to take a lot of cues. I think these guys are going to fight each other just like Thor fought Cap and Iron Man and Hulk fought Thor. And I think we're going to see that with Aquaman and stuff like that. But I think it's going to have that similar darker, gritty tone that we saw in Batman vs Superman, but with more fun. Because when we were on set, it looked like they were having fun. The movie was fun. The scenes they showed us all had humor. They're just so different. I don't know enough about Justice League yet to make that call.
And to be honest, and not to take away from the quality, because I'm one of the most excited people for Justice League.
Right.
I mean, you know me.
You never shut up about it.
I'm so excited.
He never stops.
Not to speak about the quality, but Justice League 2, I feel, is going to be the one that's more alike the first Avengers movie, because with Avengers, you had, 6 movies leading up to, 5 or 6 movies before the Avengers came out, so every single character has had their solo outing.
Right.
You know, with Justice League, we have to have a lot of character development. We've only seen Aquaman, Flash, and Cyborg in a couple of minutes of footage.
Right, and I've seen the argument that, hey, there was, I think it was 5 Marvel films, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, and The Incredible Hulk, which technically counts as canon for the MCU. With Justice League, we have Batman vs. Superman, Man of Steel, Suicide Squad, and Wonder Woman.
Right.
Wonder Woman is a prequel, and it's far in the past. Suicide Squad doesn't seem to be heavily tied into Justice League. And, you know, we haven't had a standalone Batman. We haven't had standalone Flash. We haven't had standalone Aquaman. So I don't really understand that argument.
Yeah.
I think Justice League is going to be a great movie, but I
agree.
can't make the call on which one's going to be better just yet.
I think it's apple and oranges at this point. You know, Justice League 2 and maybe Civil War might be a better comparison once that movie comes out and we've had some world building.
That's fair.
Let's see.
So we just went on for like 5 minutes and didn't even answer the question. Welcome. Comic Book Now.
Going back over to Facebook tonight, we talked about The Walking Dead earlier. Ryan Wallace, loyal viewer, always there. Thanks for watching, Ryan. Ryan wants to know if we could bring back any character on The Walking Dead.
Oh, this is so easy. This is.
I think for the once in the history of this show, Brandon and I have the same answer.
Do you want to just go on 3?
1, 2, 3.
Shane Walsh.
Yeah,
dude.
of course.
Easy question. And what's fun, actually on the Walker Shot Cruise, Chandler Riggs was asked that question during a panel, and he said Shane. So he wants his dad back.
The only downside to bringing back Shane would be we lose John Bernthal as the Punisher, and it's like,
that's true.
What's that trade-off?
I just want to live in an alternate world where like you get to see this show and everything that's happened with Shane in charge. It would be such a different. Shane would have gone on to become a Negan.
Oh, absolutely.
He would have been Negan before.
And I would have loved to watch that.
And dude, Negan is kind of tiny. He's pretty skinny. Shane would have whooped
Bernthal's
Negan's ass.
huge.
Shane would whoop Negan.
I don't know. Maybe John Bernthal is going to be like my Scott Eastwood. I'd like to see him as everything. Let's be real for a second.
I want to bring Scott Eastwood back to life because somewhere in The Walking Dead, Scott Eastwood died, technically. So bring him back.
True. All right. Let's see. Facebook. Andrew Hayes, another loyal viewer that's always with us, always watching. He wants to know if we think any of the Avengers will be in an after-credit scene in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We had Howard the Duck in the first one.
Right. And I remember James Gunn was like, this is the best post-credit scene ever, and I was so hyped. And like, it was cool, but I was expecting that connection.
You didn't love it?
Well, I loved it, but I was like expecting the connection to Avengers. I wanted to see Iron Man. There was the rumors of the Iron Man space armor showing up and finding them, and that's what I was hoping for, but it didn't happen. Will the Avengers be in this one? I don't think so, but I think you can set up Spider-Man or Thor or Black Panther with it, and I think your best bet is Black Panther because he is the least known property of everything that's coming up, and Guardians is probably going to make more money than any of those 3 I just named.
That's true.
So there's going to be more eyeballs. There's good opportunity.
I don't know. Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man will give it a run for its money. Remember, Spider-Man 2 had the record in the box office for a long time.
I don't know, man. That was before Spider-Man 2 was before everything.
I mean, sure, but that character, really resonates with people.
Right.
But
Guardians wins the 2017.
I think that James Gunn has kind of been really clear. Like, he's connected with the Avengers. I mean, he's helping with Infinity War, but he likes having his universe in Guardians separate.
Right.
I would be surprised if we did see an Avengers show.
But James Gunn is on set of Avengers Infinity War helping with that film, so whatever.
That's true.
There could be.
They might be filming something there. They
could have filmed something that connects.
Over on YouTube, DIY and Chill with Chris Sims wants to know. Speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy,
and Chill.
If we think Adam Warlock will show up. He was teased in the first one.
Definitely.
In this movie.
I think Scott Eastwood's going to. Oh, in a Guardians?
In Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
I think in Avengers Infinity War we
see.
I think we see another tease like the Cocoon in the first one. I think we definitely see another tease of Adam Warlock. I don't think we get Adam Warlock until at least Avengers Infinity War Part 1, maybe Part 2.
Now,
but we're going to get him in the MCU by May of 2019 at the latest.
If Adam Warlock is teased again in Guardians like he was in the first one, if there's another Easter egg in there for fans, a really prominent one, because that Cocoon was huge. If there's another one of those, Does that set up Adam Warlock to be one of the bigger characters in Phase 4 and beyond? I mean, because the
Absolutely.
only character we saw get that much plug and setup.
He's going to be the
Easter egg attention-
cosmic Nick Fury.
Really?
I don't know, maybe.
I
That'd
mean,
be cool.
we saw Captain America plugged a lot before he came.
Right, you
And
saw
I'm just-
Shield.
We're seeing that set up with Warlock possibly.
Oh, definitely.
Could he be a
I mean,
huge deal
they
going
have to phase it into a different set of characters. Adam Warlock is one of those characters. And with the rumors of Peter Dinklage being set for Pip, the troll, it
I don't
makes
think he's
sense.
playing. He's not playing Pip. I don't think he's playing Pip. That's just my opinion. I don't think that's happening.
That would be cool.
Nino Sheriff, I hope I said that right, Nino, wants to know, back on the DC side of things, do we think Ezra Miller will be as good as Grant Gustin as in The Flash, or you think he'll be better?
Guys, I hope. Look, I'm making a call here. I think Ezra Miller might be better than Grant Gustin as the Flash. What I've seen from Ezra Miller in this role, I saw an entire clip of the Batman of Bruce Wayne and Barry Allen meeting for the first time. They showed that to us on the set, and I saw Ezra on set with Ray Fisher, Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, and J.K. Simmons on his first day as Commissioner Gordon. And I watched in that scene. It's not about him, but he steals the scene. He just is so commanding. He's so much fun to watch that he steals the scene. And I think it's going to be tough because I love Grant Gustin. And while this season of The Flash hasn't been so fantastic, he is so great in the role. I think that Ezra Miller might take
this might be a record-breaking day at Comic Book Now because I agree with you again.
Whoa.
That's crazy. Brandon and I don't agree on a ton. Two today. Two big ones, too. I love the way Ezra Miller plays this role.
Yeah.
And I love the quirky, weird, just tendencies he
Dude,
has.
okay,
It's different.
when
it's engaging.
back in the day, like way back in the day, when Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant were friends, you remember when they used to warm up for games by doing like high fives and dances, and they do this crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, that is what Ezra Miller and Ray Fisher were doing on set.
Yeah,
Between takes.
they are super
They're having
tight.
so much fun.
And
that
Jason
only translates to a good
Momoa,
movie.
Jason Momoa in a recent interview talked about how much fun he had with Ezra Miller on the set, and he was kind of a little brother to him, and just how much they grew together. And that chemistry is really going to translate onto screen. And as far as Grant Gustin goes, I like him. I like him more as that old school Wally West type of thing. He has that kind of kid vibe.
Ezra is just,
I like him
just
better
has
than
so
that.
much raw artistic talent too. I remember I was at San Diego Comic-Con up at one of the press areas waiting to go do some interviews. And I'm sitting there, I'm typing up a piece, I think it was a Warner Brothers panel recap, and all of a sudden I hear this piano playing behind me, and somebody is playing the piano and belting out a Rihanna song, and I'm just like, what is going on? And I'm just keep typing, and then I see these people start walking over, and I walk over, and it's Ezra Miller, like almost crying. Like I think he actually was crying because he was so into this song. I'm not kidding. I have footage of it. Maybe we could roll it into tomorrow's show. If the comments, let us know if you want to see it. But he's playing the piano and just going like he's musically talented. He's talented as an actor.
And you say he was playing Rihanna and getting real emotional about it. So I'm assuming it was Rude Boy.
It was he was crying, singing work, and that I'm not kidding.
That's not what I expected.
No, it was yeah. So if you can make that song emotional, imagine what you can do with Barry Allen.
All right. Well, back on Facebook. Back to your comments. One of your best friends in the whole wide world,
Scott Eastwood.
Scott Patterson.
Sky Patterson.
Other one, Scott Patterson. Scott Patterson wants to know who should be the next James Bond. I mean, we know
Scott
we know
Eastwood.
that. Don't say that.
There he is. How did they always know? I'm too predictable. That look at that though. Can we just take a second and
Yeah,
look
but
at this picture?
he's not British. He can't do it. He's not allowed.
Oh, he can put on an
no,
accent.
he's not. They will not allow it. They will not cast
name's
anyone
Scott.
that's not from the UK.
The name's
to play
Eastwood.
it. I'm telling you,
Scott Eastwood.
it could never happen. So realistically, UK actor. Who do you think?
I like the idea of Henry Cavill as Bond.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, everyone who has seen The Man from U.N.C.L.E. will probably.
Oh
agree
yeah.
with me.
Oh, he was fantastic in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I
we
loved
just
him
go
in that
three
role.
for?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, he's not my pick though. So
we were that
and
close.
he's fun. Idris Elba's one that people throw around a lot. I would love him in
Idris
the role.
Elba would be fantastic.
I actually saw one. I was searching around after I saw that question to see just some thoughts on the internet, and I saw one that came to my mind or that I'd never seen before. Richard Madden
Ooh,
from Game of Thrones.
I could get behind that.
He's kind of a badass.
Sean Bean, but only if James Bond dies. Only if James
Bond
Bond
has to die if it's Sean Bean.
loses his head, gets shot in the face. Sean Bean. No, I like yours. I like Henry Cavill though.
Seeing Rob Stark as James Bond, I mean, he's got the attitude. He's got the fighting
I mean, if we're
skills.
sticking with Thrones, why not Kit Harington too? Just give Bond some hair this time.
I'm
Game of
less
Thrones is almost
excited about
done.
Kit
He's going
Harington.
to need a job.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Wimbledon
We'll see
thing
if he
is-
gets one. I'm just kidding. I love Jon Snow.
I was just
love
doing my Jon Snow waking up impression.
Let's see, John. I'm gonna butcher this, and I'm sorry. John Tui. on Facebook. I'm hoping I'm right there. Wants to know when we're going to get an Avengers video game, and that's something over the last couple weeks that
Yeah,
they
this
announced.
was actually big news recently. I don't think we have a release date yet, but we do know there's at least one or a couple projects in the works between Marvel, Crystal Dynamics, and Square Enix,
yeah.
which is awesome because Square Enix makes awesome video games.
Yeah, they make Final Fantasy, they make Kingdom Hearts, they make really sweet games, and they released a teaser that we showed here.
Yeah.
Couple weeks ago.
And it looks awesome.
It looks amazing. And it was the Avengers Fallen, like the shield was broken, Iron Man's hand was fizzling out, and the hammer was dispossessed, and they have to find a way to reassemble.
And I'm so ready for a good Marvel video game
yeah.
because Injustice is great. Not that I don't really love the fighting Mortal Kombat style fighting games, but Injustice, you can play it for the story alone, and the graphics are fantastic, and everyone loves that game. When's the last time Marvel got people talking with a video game?
Marvel and Capcom is probably the closest, but not a gritty, real take on a game like this would be.
I want like an Iron Man game that's like the Crackdown format. That would be so awesome.
Well, they've also announced that they're working on a Guardians game as well. That's also going to be in development. So there's a lot of stuff coming for Marvel video games.
Soon.
All right.
I guess the bottom line answer to that question is soon.
Last question here. Let's go over to Twitter. Remember, you can tweet us anytime at #CBNow. We'll see your questions, whether it's now, whether it's tonight, whether it's tomorrow morning. We will see your questions, and we're going to try to answer them as best we can on the show. But Sarah Blair wants to know, what is Mantis's role going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
She's the newcomer to the squad. She's got a pretty big role in this movie, and it's going to translate into Avengers Infinity War.
She's got a lot of power we haven't really seen before. I mean, we saw in the trailer.
We saw the trailer. Yeah.
Read Chris Pratt's feelings.
She's going to be. I think she's going to be the surprise that comes out with the big powers at the end. They're going to kind of contain her, and then when it counts, she's going to be like surprise, blow everybody away, and everyone's going to be like, "Why didn't you just do that an hour ago?" So no, she's got a big role. She's going to be a core member of the Guardians this time around. And
so Guardians characters, real quick before we go, which Guardian is your personal favorite?
Man, that's tough. Who's my personal favorite? Probably Star-Lord, honestly.
Okay, I can get behind that. I can get behind that. If we're counting, I like Yondu a lot, but I think Drax takes it for me. Let us know.
Drax is fantastic.
I love Drax. I love Batista. We want to know yours though. Let us know in the comments or on Twitter. Tweet at one of us. #CBNow in the Facebook comments.
Don't bother asking me how Logan was because I can't tell you yet. But we'll talk about that soon. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching today. This has been a blast. Scott Eastwood only made one appearance, but I think he'd be a great James Bond. I think most of them would agree with me. They got everybody with a brain. But anyway, we'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to talk more in the meantime, hit us up on Twitter at Charlie Ridgely, at Brandon Davis BD. We would love to keep the conversation going. But we'll see you tomorrow for Comic Book Now.
69, dude!